Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rohit and this is the 9 sessions of the integration class. In these 9 sessions, in past sessions, I give you the scenario 1 where I built a scripted SOAP message. Using the scripted SOAP message, how I can get the group information, group members informations, and then associated role and attach group information. So everything we get from our last sessions. And I also give you one scenario that I am going to build a one API for creation. So this one for the getting the data from this using this scripted SOAP message. I am going to create another SOAP message scripted SOAP where I am going to create an incident. An incident in this case, incident impact and urgency cannot be high. So in this case, impact and urgency cannot be high. If the pass impact is high or the urgency is high, we will not be accept. Secondly, I said that only deploy CI can be selected, and then category and subcategory should be dependent with each other. Let's see first what we are going to do. In this, using this SOAP message, I am going to create an incident basically. So what I'll do, I will create an incident here, and this incident, they will pass the few fields. One is the caller, configuration item, short description. So these are the caller, configuration item, short description. These three will be mandatory. Description will be optional. Impact and urgency will be optional. If they are not passing the impact and urgency, the default value will be 3. And again, this impact and urgency default value will be 3. And if they pass that impact and urgency, they should not pass impact or urgency as a high. And then CI that they are going to pass, that CI should not be the CI they are going to pass, that should be, the CI should be deploy CI. And then category and subcategory, this should be also optional. If they are passing category and then subcategory, then this should be the dependent. So let's get started without wasting time. So very first thing is that what we'll do, we will go to this our web services module. So we'll type that web services. Under this web services, what we'll do, we'll open the scripted SOAP services, and here the way we created the last time call get group information. So I am going to create one more call, create call incident info or incident record, and under this the function name I am going to build that called create. So this might be my function name, and I will save that. So this is my WSDL and this is the function name called create. Now in this case, we need couple of input parameter. The first parameter we need that caller, so I will say the caller ID. So caller ID. So this might be my first parameter at that 100 order. Second parameter, we need the category and subcategory. So I am going to create one by one. So first we created the caller ID. Second input parameter we are going to build, that is called category. And then order equal to 200. I'll save that. Third parameter, I need that call subcategory. And this will be 300. The fourth parameter is needed called CI. As order equal to 400. Fifth parameter is the short description. at order 500, and then 6 parameter we are going to accept the description. And then 7 parameter we are going to accept the impact and urgency, these two one by one. So all this input parameter is declared. Now what we'll do, as a response parameter we will pass three things. First is the number, if that incident got created. Second thing, we are going to pass the sys-id. And third thing I want to pass as a result. So these three parameters we are going to build that. So input parameter is 8 and then output parameter is 3. So this is our endpoint. So I will copy this endpoint and go back to our SOAP message, and we'll click the SOAP. Here I'll put this name and click OK. I'll put the credential and click OK. Once we click OK, you can see that there is a create method which is created. Nothing but this name is coming from our declaration of this here, this function name, which is create, that I have declared. Because of that, that is coming. I'll go back there. Under this SOAP, you can see that under this function we have a request, and in this request you can see these are the fields which is right now showing. So I will scroll down and then put the username password here. Now I will start coding in my scripted SOAP. So let's start coding in our scripted SOAP. First thing first, there are a couple of things we are getting mandatory. So we'll validate first mandatory and then we'll come back to that. So in this code, very first thing is that we should validate that mandatory parameter they are passing or not. So first function, I am going to create that function mandatory validation, something like that. So this function I am going to call, and in this function what I am going to check that if here so let's say caller, right? So our case is the caller is nothing but this is the caller ID. So let's say somebody request dot caller ID is there, it means that the value is true, else it will return that I'll say that caller ID cannot be blank, something like that. If the caller found, so we'll say that request dot next parameter we do have call CI. So CI is there or not. If it is there, that's fine, else we'll say that return CI cannot be blank. Next parameter, we do have mandatory parameter called short description. So let's say that if request dot short description is there find else will say that return short description cannot be blank. So this validation I am going to do, very first thing is that if all this mandatory validation or all this value is passed, we'll just simply return true. Okay, so this is our first validation, and here what we'll do, we'll call these functions first. So var v1, and we will call this function first time. So if v1 equal to true, we'll do the further, else whatever response we are getting, we'll say the response dot result. So we have that result parameter. We'll say the response dot result equal to v1. Okay, so this might be our first case. So let's save that and try to explore our case. So let's say I'm going to create a incident, and I'm not going to, in this incident, what I will do, I will going to pass this caller name called my name Rohit Kumar. Let's first check that. So if somebody pass this caller ID equal to Rohit Kumar, and then somebody don't pass this CI name, and somebody don't pass after this caller what we have validation, short description. So we'll pass this short description called incident from soap. So this might be our short description. So let's hit that endpoint and see that we are getting our expected behavior or not. So right now we can see CI cannot be blank. So that first validation, it is taking that CI cannot be blank. Now if I remove this caller ID, and let's say I will remove that caller ID from here and hit, let's see, we are getting that that caller ID cannot be blank. So the validation is in place. So we will say that it's working fine. Now the second thing is that once somebody pass this, CI, let's say I will pass this ABC CI, and then we don't pass this short description, what happened to this case? So CI short description validation is going to pass or not. So if I pass this, you can see it's showing that the short description cannot be blank. So it is also working. Now, if we pass the short description and CI and then caller ID and hit enter, this CI is not a valid. So we have to validate that the CI is correct and the CI is in deploy state. So these things we have to validate. So right now you can see if I pass that, nothing is going to happen. So we have to do one more validation call. Once the CI, we got the CI, that CI has to be, this CI has to be validated in a proper way. So what I'll do, I will query to that grci equal to new glide record, and inside that I will check that cmdb underscore CI, and then I will say that grci dot add query, and here I will query to the CMDB CI table, and here let's assume that I am going to pass one of these CI. So let's update it, take the updated one. So let's say this CI name, somebody passed that. So if I show match copy query, so the field name is the name. So I will check the name, comma, this is the name or not, and then I want to pick only deployed CI. So what I'll do, I'll say that operational status is operational or not. So this kind of CI I am going to build that. So we have a field called operational status. So if the operational status deployed, those kind of CI they should pass. If it is not deployed, we should not accept that. So this is the validation we should put that. So I will copy query, and then here I will say that operational status should be 1. So here I will say that operational status should be 1, and grci dot query if grci dot next, if these things find out. So we will go for further validation, else we will return some message. So let's format one more time. So here, once we get the CI name, so we are going to check that CMDB CI table with this name, and operational status is 1. If the CI is found, so we are checking further validation call short descriptions, else we are returning call CI may be not found or not in operational. So this validation we have placed here. So let's do the format the code. The validation is done. Now if I go back to here, and then if we pass any name in the ABC and hit that enter, and I think let's see that is there any CI name called ABC in my system. So if I search with the ABC, there is a CI called ABC which is operational. That's the reason I am not getting this error. So I will change this CI to status operational to non-operational, and if I now send that, I should get an error. So you can see I'm getting a result called CI may not be found or not in operational. So these things are right now working. The next thing is that once we get this validation, this caller, configuration item, short description, as I mentioned that impact and urgency cannot be done. Impact and urgency cannot be 1. So what we'll do one more validation here. So if short description is found, we will check that if call request dot it's a optional field, so we will say that impact, if somebody passing the impact and request dot impact equal to 1. So let's say we'll say else. So we will return as that impact cannot be 1. Similarly, in else block, we will just copy this port here in this else block, and here what we'll do, we will return true. So we will say that urgency, and here we'll say that urgency. So if you are passing the impact and urgency and both, this value is 1, so we will say that you cannot pass impact and urgency equal to 1. Okay, so fine, let's save that and see in our postman. So let's say in this first we pass this impact equal to 1 and urgency equal to 2 and search what will be happen. So first of all, that CI is not found, so we need to be update that CI status. So let's say operational status non-operational to I will mark that operational, and if we search with this CI status, we should be able to get this error. So impact cannot be 1, so we will say that 2, and once we change that urgency equal to 1, and we should be again get that error for urgency. So you can say the urgency cannot be 1. So we will pass this impact and urgency. If we are not passing that urgency, will not get any error. So we are not passing any error. So we are not passing any value. So we are not getting any error. So we'll pass impact and urgency for the timing. After that, what we'll do in this case, we do all this validation. Now I am going to insert this record to this table. For that, what we have to do, we are going to pass this value called var grinc equal to new glide record, and whatever validation if you want to take care, you can put one by one all this validation inside that. So I am not going to deep dive all this. So I just show you that how we can do the validation. Now here we are going to put the mandatory fields called grinc dot caller underscore id. That is one mandatory field. Second mandatory field is a grinc dot short description is the mandatory field, and third mandatory fields we have called cmdb ci. So these three things we are going to map here. So we'll say that request dot, here we do have the caller underscore id. So we'll paste that. Next we have the short description. So we will copy that short description here. And then third we have cmdb ci, which is nothing but ci. We'll copy that and paste here. Now after that we do have optional field called, let's say we do have impact and urgency. So let's put that. So if request dot impact we do have, then we will say that grinc dot impact equal to request dot impact. Similarly, if request dot urgency, then we will say the grinc dot urgency equal to this one. So this way we are going to set that impact and urgency if they are passing. After that, what we'll do, we will insert that. So insert, and then I will so after that what we'll say that response dot result equal to incident created, something like that. I am going to pass that, and then in the number and sysid I will pass these two information. So let's say that result response dot sys underscore id equal to grinc dot sys underscore id, and response dot number equal to grinc dot number. So this information we are going to pass. So let's save that and go back to the SOAP UI. So we push or we pass all these informations, and let's run that. Once we pass that, you can see that incident is created, and this is the incident number we are getting right now. If we search with this incident number, I should be able to get that incident. So if you don't pass any of this, so you can see this information is passed, but here ci did not populate it. So why? Let's see, cmdb ci equal to ci. So this is not passed. You can see this value, because I am getting that request.ci is the ci name. So what I have to do, that I have to do a additional thing called var grci1 equal to new glide record, and cmdb underscore ci table, and then grci1 dot get. Here I should say the name equal to this one, and now I should pass this sys id instead of this value, so I'll say that sys underscore id. All right, now let's send back again once more time. We are going to send that with this name and I am getting that incident is inc0018. Let's search with that incident, and you can see this CI is right now getting populated, and then impact and urgency, it's getting populated 1 and 1. Caller, this short description, everything is getting populated. Only thing we have not done in this class called category and subcategory. If you guys can do that, it will take additional more time, so you probably try yourself to set the category and subcategory. So that's it for today. Thank you very much. Have a great day.